am First Lieutenant Alyssa Sanchez, and I am part of 17 Cav. I am the platoon leader for 2nd Platoon in Diablo Troop, and I'm also the tank commander of Diablo 2-1. Diablo 2-1 is the M1A2 SEP V3. The purpose of armor units and being tankers is to close with and destroy the enemy. So doing that in our missions, whether it's an offensive mission or a defensive mission, destroying the enemy allows the commander freedom of maneuver to utilize his assets to accomplish the mission.
Specialist Colton Courser. I am the gunner for Diablo 2-1. My job as a gunner is to prove lethality on the tank, first and foremost. That could be shooting targets, identifying targets, and at the end of the day, just listening to the TC and making sure everything goes right for the mission.
The tank commander gives the command to fire for the gunner. So myself and the gunner are constantly scanning, looking for targets, and once I find it or he finds it, I'll designate it to him if I find it, and he'll just call it out if he sees it. Then I give him the command to fire, and he destroys the target, and we continue on to the next.
If you have a gunner that can't scan, or you don't have faith that they can find target, you won't prove lethality on the battlefield. Starts off in AIT, Advanced Individual Training, where we learn the basics of being a tanker. That would be PMCS, which is Preventative Maintenance Checks and Services, which is just maintaining the tanks and making sure they're ready to go. And you learn a little bit about driving. And then once you reach your unit, you become a driver, normally, typically, where the driver may be the lowest position in the crew, it's also the most important, where without a driver, you can't accomplish your mission.
I'm Specialist Lanico Davenport. My job within the tank crew, I am a loader slash driver, so I can either, my job would be, if I have to drive the tank, I have to make sure master power is on, and making sure our tracks looks good, and making sure everything around me is in order for me to move as a driver, and then listening to the commands, making sure you can hear your track commander or your gunner or loader. For the loader, your job is to make sure you have the proper amount of rounds and place of where the rounds are. So bottom rack could be your armor piercing, or your second rack could be your high explosive.
As we get closer to gunnery, we'll do AACs, which is armament accuracy checks, and basically it ensures that your fire control system is fully operational. We'll do something called plumb and sync, making sure that all the sights on the tank are aligned with one another. Once we get out to gunnery, we'll start doing table 3, which is basically just a dry run, and then we'll move into LFAS once we're done with table 3 day and night, and that's basically zeroing the main gun so that once you're firing center mass, you'll hit center mass. After LFAS, you moved into tables 4 and 5, which are basically just practice tables for table 6, which is the main event, and that's the one that matters when it goes to qualifying.
you're never really stationary unless you're in the defensive position. So it will first go defense, defilade, which you're moving back and forth, up a hill and down. And then you go into offense, which you are driving downrange, engaging targets while you're moving.
There's two different traditions that we typically follow. So the first one is just qualifying. So if you qualify on the first time, it's a Q1, and that's getting above a score of 700, and that means you get to get your tanker boots. And then the other one is if you shoot distinguished, which is over 900, then you get to name your tank. We had a rough table 4 and 5, but we just stayed consistent with our rehearsals and performed during table 6. Now that kind of closes it out for gunnery until the next one, but we're working towards platoon 6 now, and working now as a platoon to be the most lethal ones out there.